I'll just say what I told the guys. Guys, that was a hard-fought game against a quality opponent. We had opportunities early, we had opportunities late. Give them credit; they made one more play than we did.
Open up for questions. Go ahead, Sal.
Coach, can you describe what's going through your mind those final seconds? They score, you have 27 seconds left. What was the talk on the sidelines with the last play you ran?
Well, we were going to have. We felt like we had a couple. We had a couple things left on the chart there. We were going to try to run the hook and ladder there, okay, and then we were, then you have your home runs, home run outs, and things like that. But that's you got to get some chunks, and you got to get it out of personality. They're not going to let you. They're not going to make it easy for you to get behind them in that situation. So we had a couple of things left on the counter, and we wanted to make sure we got it called.
The lateral was going to Momo on that? Was designed to go to Momo on that play?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
He was the only one. There was nobody else there, was it?
No. The calling that timeout with 35 seconds left, using your final timeout, can you go over the thinking also?
Well, because so I have that time left. If they go down there, they'll run that time off the clock. We won't have a chance to even run a couple of plays at the end there. I only have one timeout left. If I had two, I would use them both there in that situation.
Can you talk about the way the defense played today? I mean, all game they were playing tough against Western Kentucky.
Well, yes and no. We have our opportunities there at the end. We had a heck of a time winning some one-on-one pass rushes. We had a heck of a time covering them one-on-one. That was give them credit. We were, we were opportunistic. We got some takeaways. We handled the run for the most part well, but we struggled to rush the passer, unless we were absolutely reckless and knew that it was going to be passed. We had a hard time transitioning, generating any pressure. And then when we were pressuring, we had a hard time holding up one-on-one. They're like I say, they're a good team. They made some plays.
Joe?
Coach, could you just give a few thoughts on being up 10-0 and just them getting back in the game there? I mean, it seemed like the defense was just so much more aggressive through 10-0, and then after you scored that to make it 10-0, it seems like they just came down. I mean, was it just did they wear you down at all? Or?
Well, I think that they found some things along the way. They were determined to run the ball. They as I say, they did a good job of protecting their quarterback, and they did a good job of finding the open guys. The one that you're thinking about is that third and 37 yards or whatever it was, or it's just where you're talking to yourself, because now you're playing coverage. You don't have any 4-man pressure, and then you have a 6-man pressure, and somebody misses, and now you're one-on-one, and you're having a hard time covering those cats too. But like I say, it was hard fought. It was back and forth. We weren't calling the game differently defensively. We were leaning forward throughout.
Just given all the ups and downs of the season and all the things that this team has been through, I mean, how devastating a loss is this? Given the fact that
a devastating loss is not new. We know what that feels. Unfortunately, we're practiced at that. The good news is the guys handled it. The guys handled one last week. They came out there. They were spectacular in practice. They didn't recognize how good they were. They came out to work last week, Tuesday and Wednesday, just devastated from the game last weekend. But they're professional. They're diligent. They're dependable. They came out. They went to work. They prepared. I stepped back and I was just amazed. There are great teams all over America that had everything going for them, that had nothing else going that day. They couldn't do what our guys did on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. They couldn't do it. Ohio State can't do that. With everything going for them and nothing in 12 units, they can't do that. So, our guys know how to do that. Our guys, the culture on this football team is right. The leadership on this football team is right. We got to play a little bit better. We got to coach a little bit better. We got to catch a break here with some health. As I say, I'm sick for those senior leaders because they deserve to feel better today. But, the scoreboard didn't lie. And at the end of the day, they made one more play than we did. So deal with it.
Late third, 10-7, and it seems like Western's about to see some momentum, and you went for it on 4th down. Was that an easy call on your part, or did that take a lot of hard thinking on your part?
Which 4th down?
Your 4th down on your own 44.
I think that was a midfield thing. That's 4th and 1. That's got to be our personality. I was kicking myself for not going for it when it was 4th and 3/4 of a yard inside our own 20. I punted that one, and we hit a great punt, and I was okay. So I felt, but part of me says that we should always go for that.
Coach, talk about the squib kick to start the game.
What would you like to talk about?
Well, I mean, obviously, it wasn't not an attempt to try to force the
We
turnover.
were trying to keep the ball out of some hands. We were trying to spray the thing around. We felt like there was a lot of air in the middle of the field, so we decided on Wednesday, that's what we were going to start the game with. If we kicked off to start the game, we were going to, that X marks the spot, we were going to hit that thing, and there was going to be a pile of butts, and maybe we could come up with the ball, and we did. And we had somebody just lose that presence and get into the neutral zone, because that does change the timing of the kickoff.
You had the fumble with Angel at the 1, then you had the 27-yard run wiped off by the penalty. Those things come back to haunt you, I guess, right?
Oh, I guess. Yeah, that was, there, like I say, there are all kinds of points that were left on the field there in the first half, I thought. And I say there were some plays at the end on defense that we left on the field. So a game like that will always do that to you, but there are opportunities all over the place. Got to make one more.
Let's take one final question. Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, just going to ask you, you had a couple of running backs out today. Hayden Tippett, Larry Dixon went out, and then Turntine was out. How much impact does that have on the offense when you miss 3 of your running backs?
Well, I think the better story is how neat is it that Anthony Giovanelli steps in and takes on that role and delivers for the football team in a critical situation. He hasn't had to carry that kind of weight, and he delivered, as I say, against a really good football team. So I think that's the message is yeah, those are driving us crazy, the number of injuries that we have and the number of guys out of the lineup. But every time that happens, it's an opportunity for somebody else to step in, and you see some really amazing things from some young guys that haven't had an opportunity. And that's the story, is what Giovanelli was able to do with the opportunity that adversity presented him.
Coach, just you had Jarrett Mackey seem to be putting quite a bit of pressure on the quarterback, and you had Tom Holloway back. Just why would the defense basically play better today than it did in some last weeks?
I think it does help having Thomas out there, and it does help keeping Shaquille Tolbert on the field for 40. Those guys are practice guys. And again, I think Jeff having a week in the saddle, if you will, Jeff Bacon, because he went into the last week's game with really no practice. He'd been out for 6 weeks and hadn't really been able to practice because of that medical condition he was fighting through. So all those guys are they've been when those guys are playing, they play together, they play well. Well, now again, they have their hands full today, regardless.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.